She used to watch him sleep in the early mornings, his chest rising and falling with calm rhythm, unaware that one day she would give anything just to see that breath again. He used to hold her hand in crowded places, not because he was afraid of losing her, but because he simply couldn't stand not touching her. They were one of those couples who didn't just grow old together, they grew into each other. They had built a life full of laughter, routines, quiet dinners, and shared dreams. He used to bring her flowers every Friday, even after 37 years of marriage. She used to leave little notes in his coat pocket on cold mornings, telling him to stay warm and come home safe. But then life changed, as it often does when you're least prepared. The diagnosis came like a whisper from hell: cancer. He used to be full of energy, fixing things around the house, dancing in the kitchen, making her tea without her asking. But slowly, all of that began to fade. The strong hands that once carried their children became too weak to hold a spoon. The voice that used to sing old songs in the shower turned quiet, and his smile became something she fought for each day. One evening, while sitting in the backyard watching the sky melt into hues of orange and gold, he looked at her. Really looked. The kind of look that says everything without needing words. "Do you remember that trip we always talked about?" he asked softly. "Montana. The little cabin. The stars. Just you and me." Her throat tightened. He used to talk about it all the time, how he wanted to take her away from the noise of life, just once, to a quiet place where they could exist without worry. But they had never gone. Life had always gotten in the way: kids, jobs, bills. And now, here he was, asking for that forgotten dream, knowing time was running out. She was scared. He could barely walk more than a few steps. What if something went wrong? What if he didn't make it back? But then she remembered how he used to carry her over puddles when she was pregnant. How he never said no to her, not once, even when he was exhausted. How he used to kiss her forehead every night, even in his sleep. And so, she nodded, and whispered, "Yes." They packed light. She carried the weight of his medicine, his pillows, his fragile body, and he carried only one thing: his heart, beating with hope. Most of the journey he slept, his head resting against the car window, sunlight warming his pale skin. Every time he opened his eyes, he smiled and asked, "Almost there?" And she would reply, "Almost." When they reached the cabin, tucked deep in the quiet woods of Montana, she saw something come back into his face, something that had been gone for months: light. He used to smile like that when he got her birthday gift just right. They built a small fire, cooked a simple meal, and that night, wrapped in warm blankets, they lay under a sky full of stars. He held her hand. His fingers were cold, but his grip was firm. "This," he whispered, "this is what heaven must feel like." She didn't speak. She was too busy memorizing his face under the starlight, too busy praying for the night not to end. He passed away 2 nights later. In his sleep. No pain. No machines. No hospital walls. Just the cabin, the stars, and her hand resting beside his. She didn't cry right away. She just laid there with him, whispering all the things she still wanted to say. "Thank you for loving me. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for asking me for one last dream." Before she left, she carved their initials into the tree outside the cabin, like teenagers. J+R equals always. He used to laugh at her for being sentimental, but she knew he'd have loved it. When she returned home, the silence was unbearable. His chair by the window was still pulled back, as if he had just stepped out for a moment. His jacket still hung on the hook. His slippers sat neatly by the door. She used to hear his humming in the hallway. Now she heard only the ticking of a clock that seemed to echo loss. She started writing letters to him, pouring out memories and grief and gratitude. She'd sit with her tea at dawn and read them aloud, imagining his voice replying with soft laughter and gentle teasing. He used to say she was the dramatic one. Maybe he was right. But she didn't care. Because in that one, yes, she had given him peace. And in return, he had left her with something stronger than pain: purpose. She used to think goodbye meant the end. But now she knew. It just meant carrying someone differently. Now, every evening, as the sun sets and the sky turns orange, she closes her eyes and whispers into the wind, "I said yes." Not because it was easy. Not because she was brave. But because love asked her for something only she could give. He had one final wish. And she, his wife, his partner, his forever love, had the honor of saying, "Yes." If you like this video, please subscribe, like, share and press the bell icon for more.